This manga is straight up garbage.
Then why are you telling me to read it?
I didn't say the writing was bad.
But you just said it was garbage.
Yeah, it's trash.
How does that make any sense?
Well, it's about literal garbage.
So it's good garbage?
Well, yeah, according to this manga, even garbage could be as valuable as gold.
Today, I'm gonna be talking about a manga called Gachiakuta by Kei Urana. It currently runs in Kodansha's weekly shounen magazine and caught a lot of eyes immediately upon releasing due to the mangaka. Kei Urana isn't a veteran in the industry, but she's a longtime fan of legendary mangaka Atsushi Ohkubo and got to work as an assistant under him for his second hit series, Fire Force. She used to be a fan of Soul Eater as well, so this was a dream come true for her. Ohkubo formally passed the torch to Urana when Gachiakuta started and told everyone to tune in, and thankfully, Gachiakuta has lived up to the hype. It's very clearly inspired by Ohkubo's works in general, with Urana blending in her own style of art and writing that gives Gachiakuta an extremely distinct feel. The main character of Gachiakuta is a shonen main character aged fellow named Rudo, who lives in an area that really isn't known for its equality. The place he lives in has been gentrified completely and is split into two sections, one known as the town and the other as the slums, where the tribesfolk live. The town is your typical white supremacy area filled with people that look down on those from the slums, kinda like the Republic from '86. People who live in the slums descend from criminals and their descendants have to pay for their sins. Rudo is the son of one such murderer, and even the people in the slums look down at him because of it. He was brought up by a man named Regto, who seems to be the only one looking out for him in this terrible world. He's the one who constantly tells Rudo to stay out of trouble, and even gave Rudo a pair of gloves to cover his charred hands, which were burnt during a s'mores expedition when Rudo was just a wee lad. Yeah, I just made all that up. We have no idea Rudo's hands are like that.
Maybe it's because he was beating his meat.
Anyways, Regto's constantly looking out for Rudo, since Rudo has the habit of constantly crossing the border between the town and the slums to look for garbage. Yup, this kid is addicted to garbage. He's X-Arm's strongest soldier. This addiction is fueled by the fact that the fortunate people of the town often throw away goods that have been barely used, causing Rudo to get pissed that good stuff is being wasted like this since he can still see value in other people's garbage. You know how they say one man's trash is another man's treasure? For Rudo, anyone's trash is his treasure. He'd definitely be someone to subscribe to my channel since he can find value in anything. I hope you can find entertainment in these videos too, so if you do, make sure to like and subscribe. Rudo's schemes eventually catch up to him as he's soon framed for the death of Regto after finding his benefactor with a little splinter stuck inside of his vital organs. Before Rudo knows it, he's being treated like a murderer, like his father was, and he's lost whatever little trust the other people in the slums had in him. Due to his crimes, he's thrown into a pit at the edge of the slums, where he gets into a waste disposal facility, taught to clean up his act, and returns to town, ready to become a lawyer and avenge his surrogate father's death. And by that, I mean he's thrown into a wasteland filled with nothing but garbage. Being surrounded by straight trash sounds terrible. I mean, imagine the stench of all of that. But don't worry, it gets much worse for Rudo. The poor lad doesn't even have a few seconds to think about where he is before he's attacked by a beast made out of garbage. This beast is called, you'll never guess it, a trash beast. The air within the pit is extremely hard to breathe in as well, so Rudo's not only up against a garbage monster, but he also has to fight Canadian wildfire fumes while he's at it. Being the shonen main character that he is, he fights back at the monster despite all the odds being stacked against him, and he is narrowly saved by the badass mentor of Gachiakuta, an umbrella enthusiast named Engine. His introduction panel is so cool, and it reminds me a lot of this Bleach panel. Since Urahara was goated, I was expecting the same from Engine, and thankfully, he is. After being saved by Engine, Rudo gets to learn more about where he is and about the dystopian wasteland he's been living above for all of his life. Rudo finds out that the pit is an entirely different society from the one he's used to, filled with all sorts of towns and people that have to deal with the garbage being dumped on them constantly. Due to all the garbage, trash beasts begin to appear, and to combat these trash beasts, an organization called the Cleaners has been formed. Engine's a prominent member of the Cleaners and is known as a giver, which is where we dive into the power system of Gachiakuta. The main theme of Gachiakuta is finding value in something that someone else has deemed worthless or garbage. The power system is the embodiment of this theme, with Rudo's power basically being the idea of treasuring any kind of trash. People with power in Gachiakuta are called givers, and they're able to give life to an object and draw out its latent abilities to their maximum potential. People have to be predisposed to being a giver to have access to this power, but that's only half of the story. They also have to have a high quality object to bring out its power, and the way to get a high quality object is to treasure and take care of it as much as possible. Basically become obsessed with this one object until you've memorized every detail about it and are able to draw its power out. These objects range from various different things, from Engine's umbrella to Zanka's seemingly useless wooden stick to Simio's glasses. Rudo's object is the gloves he cherished so much from Recto, and they basically allow him to draw out the full potential of any object he touches, basically making him the ultimate giver since he can turn garbage into crazy useful weapons. This kind of ability is very fitting for him considering Rudo was treated like thrown away garbage by everyone but Recto before he was literally thrown out himself. Another cool detail about the power system I liked was the idea of those wanting to use their objects being attackers and those wanting to preserve their objects being defenders. Rudo learns to use his ability throughout Gachiakuta, being deemed as a genius and training with his rival who he flung poop at, Zanka. He's also taught by Engine and the other squad members as they tackle trash beasts, and through this he begins to catch the eye of other groups, ones with much less pure intentions than the Cleaners. The antagonistic force of Gachiakuta so far is a group called the Raiders, who are trying to reach the surface Rudo came from, which they call heaven. You see, most people living in the pit have been there their whole lives and have never met someone from the surface. This makes Rudo especially valuable since he's from the surface and has been to the destination that the Raiders are trying to get to. You think that this makes him their savior, but the people in the pit hate surface dwellers, whom they call spherites. I don't blame them though. I mean, the spherites literally dump garbage on them 24/7, so I'd want them filleted as well. The leader of the Raiders is a dude named Typhon, don't ask me about the name, whom we don't know much about, but he seems interesting to say the least. His design's pretty great and he's pretty unhinged despite seeming calm. To be honest, most of the villains in Gachiakuta are unhinged as hell, including Zodo's lackey, Jabber, who's a masochist to the highest degree. Zodo proposes helping Rudo get back to the surface by abandoning the cleaners, and his conflict is going on in the manga at the moment, so I can't really tell what's gonna happen. All I know is that this dude is at least cockroach level, which makes him a force to reckon with. I'm really enjoying the world building of Gachiakuta so far. There have been little tidbits dropped about other organizations that aren't the cleaners, like the Hell Guards and Canvas Town in general, which really brings the trash-filled pit to life. There's also been various hints dropped about Regto and Rudo's origin, including the design of his gloves and how this relates to the mysterious forces that Rudo had seen before. As for Rudo himself, I'm 50-50 on him. He's really edgy and goes around calling everyone a turd face whenever he can. He also is dishing out violence at any moment, but he does have some good character moments here and there. He's also unable to smile properly, much like Shinra, which leads to some hilarious interactions. Despite being pretty edgy, Rudo does have a fair bit of introspective moments as well whenever he makes a mistake or is unable to save someone. Seeing others try to pick him up when he's down is great, and the squad Rudo hangs around with is starting to feel more and more like family, especially Engine, Zanka, and Rio. There's still a lot of mysteries surrounding most of the characters, so I can't really comment much on them, but I can certainly say that I'm looking forward to Engine's backstory a lot, along with how the cleaners came to be in the first place. As for the art, it's very Ohkubo-esque to say the least. Urana is extremely good at drawing scribbly, unsettling panels whenever someone's going through mental turmoil, which makes a lot of the surprising moments hit very hard. She definitely delivers on giving a creepy vibe to the Raiders and characters like Amo, which is very fitting for the wasteland that Gachiakuta takes place in. Her landscape shots are great as well, and I really like how she draws fights. There's a lot of chapters where there isn't constant explaining about what's going on, and we just get to see characters fighting with their abilities on display. Choreography flows really well, and I like Urana's paneling here too. Although there are still moments where characters explain their abilities for absolutely no reason. Like, why would you tell your enemy how your powers work? If you're looking for something to scratch that itch after finishing Fire Force, or you want a fun battle shounen that takes place in a very unique setting, definitely check out Gachiakuta. There are clearly plans when it comes to expanding the world a lot, and I can't wait for all of this foreshadowing to pay off. It's only a little over 60 chapters at the time of recording, and it's a great binge for anyone looking for a new shounen to sink their teeth into. If you guys check out Gachiakuta, let me know what you think of it, and if you have any other anime or manga recommendations for me, leave them down below and I'll try to check them out. Have a wonderful day.